lab?
Yeah, we set up a math lab.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the equipment, the money was coming in.
Where was it?
Ocean Hill, Brownsville, with all the crazy stuff. We've got a lunch across the street and a luncheonette. Ella and her sister from down south. So we're going to eat, rice and peas and fried chicken, all that stuff.
So what was the math lab?
Actually, it's a school I went to as a kid, kindergarten through 6.
And what'd you do?
What did I do?
What were you doing there at this math lab?
We set up hands-on activities at different centers for different math concepts, and the kids would go around and actually accomplish that by either using a balance scale or weights, or almost like you think of a science lab, but this was a math lab. This was January 1970.
And here on 2010, they're talking about on the radio like it's something new.
And then that was actually the school that I got out of Vietnam, but I'm hearing shots outside, and there are riots, and teachers walk out, all 4 tires are gone, there are milk crates, batteries gone. A father, one of them, my colleague, what's his name, Wayne Golden, held the class up at gunpoint, brought them all downstairs.
That's education. Welcome to education, Kathy Black.
Yeah, right.
With a C.
That was then. It was nothing like it was then. I mean, that was, they put me into, classes to teach retarded kids. I said, I don't have a degree, and I don't know anything about retarded kids, So, it was, you had to kind of learn by doing on your own, like the math lab, They throw you in there, you better do it, or the kids will eat you up alive.
Well, they'll send you to Vietnam.
Right, that's right. So, send me to Vietnam. So, that was it.
Worked in a war zone, so you didn't have to go to a war.
And it was truly a war zone, it's not, it wasn't even, it's when I think about it, you get so accustomed to things, but when you really think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let me see.
I remember taking, I remember, was it Doreen? Was she my wife then? Or girlfriend? Had to be my wife then, right, because I started teaching it, and the buildings were burning, I remember, from top to bottom, and she started welling up and started crying like crazy. Why are these buildings, was very upset about it all. I got through that neighborhood fast, though, I must say,
Oh, well, I always liked driving through there with you as well. It was fun.
See this tall blonde with a pug nose and thick straight hair saying, I was, at least I had some hair then. I had black hair, and you weren't sure exactly what I was.
Cheech and Chong, you looked like.
Yeah, right. So I was able to kind of get away, I was kind of balance the line. You weren't, you're not sure, my name wasn't, Marty Schwartz, nor did I look that way. So, it was quite a time, though, on math, what she was talking about, the professor from University of Chicago. Did that all along, actually. That's how I started, and then years later I meet Steve Rappaport, and then I get involved in that, and it's not just because I had a Spanish name, but I knew the stuff,
Right.
That helped, though,
Yeah, well, but that was the anecdote of the whole. That's the anecdote,
That helped, for sure, and then we started setting those up, actually in the whole district, all of Ocean Hill, Brownsville. Every school had a math lab. So I didn't think I'd be doing that, that's for sure. I was out of teaching after the Vietnam War, but I stayed in it. Didn't teach all that long, really, if you think about it. I was a fast learner. And that was it.
That was it, huh?
No, well, that was only January 1970. A lot after that. And then
When did you start in education?
January 1970.
Oh, and then you went right into this whole Mathlab thing.
Exactly, right
Wow.
into it. And because I was supposed to graduate college in 1969,
But you're a fast learner.
but what I did, no, because,
Didn't you change schools?
yeah, I changed schools. I was in Brooklyn College at night. Wanted to matriculate the day because, you know, you had to be a genius to get into Brooklyn College in those years. Like, I mean, you know, high average, and, you know, they didn't just take, you know, regular averages like I had, you know. And, but I got drafted, so.
LIU, here we come.
Yeah, get my ass out of there, yeah, and it just happened like that. Then I started student teaching. Told that story today about my cooperating teacher, Ted Ellsberg. So we don't play pocket pool. They cracked that. You know, that line went a long way. That's what we're talking about before those people I was talking to were born. You know, when he was telling me 19.
Was he Daniel Ellsberg's brother?
I don't know. I don't think
Ted
so.
Ellsberg?
I don't know. Same last name. I never connected the two, though. Ted Ellsberg, Erasmus Hall High School. That was 19. I don't even know what year that was. We're talking about 19. Let's see, I graduated 69. Must have been 67, 68. That was Erasmus. Old school.
Clinton's so dark it doesn't even show up in here. Oh, that's where Barbara Streisand went.
Yeah, a lot of people went there. Very old. Flatbush and Church, Flatbush Avenue. That whole campus. Then I couldn't get a job in high school, actually. That's why, you know, I really wanted to teach on that level. But there wasn't any, I said, I don't care where I teach now, you know. I got my orders to report and my token. I said, reporting for duty. And my sister got me the job, my first job, because the assistant principal, Arnold Wittenstein, lived on our block in Canarsie. And Arnold's son died in the World Trade Center. But he's one of the last names, too, Wittenstein. And so Arnold was the AP, and I got in. In fact, Arnold went down to my draft board to testify for me because they still wanted to draft me, even though I was teaching. That's how bad they wanted me. They were really after me. They probably thought I was some Spanish boy that, you know, we're going to get him.
Yeah, send him into.
You know, and they really were anxious to get me because they kept on giving me trouble. I couldn't get deferred. And the principal never showed up, Ralph Rogers. So Arnold, again, bailed me out, testified in front of the draft board. I was sitting there. You know, it's a special service school, and what I was doing, helping kids in really deep poverty, in need, and then I was a math program, and a shortage of people, and they finally gave me a deferment. I mean, that was like...
He saved your life.
Oof, he did. He saved my life. I mean, unless I would have, you know, my mother kept on saying, you're going to go to my sister in Argentina, you're not going to go into Vietnam. No way.
Then you'd be speaking, you'd be doing this in Spanish.
I would have been superintendent by now.
You could be hanging out with my brother.
I said, Mom, I'll join the reserves. That's what I told her. She said, you
right.
are not joining anything during the war.
She lived through it, she knows.
Exactly. So she saved my life too, because I wasn't, you know, I may have gone, you know.
No, well, your cousin did that for you.
Yeah.
Crazy Steve.
So you know, but I wound up not going, and that was...
Your mother and father gave at the office, so to speak.
That's for sure.
Their entire family was, you know, mostly wiped out.
Yep.
So they gave already. They didn't have to give you.
Nope.
Besides, you gave it how many years in New York City Board of Education in some of the toughest neighborhoods in New York City?
32.
Okay, so that you had to pay, but it, you know, it all worked out well.
Yep.
It all worked out well, right? Pretty well. The Mathlab, January 1970.
Yeah.